Okay, I'm going to say shalom to everyone. Thank the Most High for another day. Hopefully, I can get this information out in a timely manner. I tried this a few times, and it's just trying to get acclimated with how many minutes I have with this phone. Because I want to give it all out at one time. I don't want to make a part two and all that. It takes forever to load up. But based on this information, when it comes down to drinking wine or drinking a beer, beer is what you would call strong drink in the Bible. Some of our brothers and sisters in the Christian doctrine believes that this is a sin. So I thought I would go into a few scriptures on how it's not a sin and how it's something that was just passed down, because you're not going to find a scripture that's verbatim that says that, drinking wine and drinking beer is a sin. But they would use other scriptures, and I'm going to go into a few of those scriptures on how they are misinterpreting them. Not because, like I said, I'm not jumping on them. Jumping on the originators, the origin, or you would say the progenitors of these people that pass this stuff down to us as people. All right. We are misinterpreting scriptures based on the theologian doctrine set up by the Nicene Creed. In 325 AD, you had Constantine under the church, and our records were extrapolated and taken. They took out the book of Jasher, they took out the book of Enoch, they took out the 14 books, which is called the Apocrypha, out of the scriptures. So a lot of our people don't know that. So based on that information, you're going to read the Bible in a way where you're not getting the whole story. You're not getting the whole total package. All right, you got the Dead Sea Scrolls. There's a lot of information in bibliography that you can get from that to put more of the puzzle pieces together. So, like I said, I'm no, you would say, a scholar totally when it comes down to it, but I understand, based on what I'm about to get into, that drinking wine is not a sin. Okay, so let me just show you some information on it. So what I want to do first is bring out a scripture that a lot of mainstream Christians like to bring forth to say that it's not, or to say that it's a sin to drink wine or to strong drink or beer. Let's go to 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 8, and it says, "Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour." Now I'm just going to make this very clear. When it says be sober, it has nothing to do with wine at all, or beer. This scripture is not talking about that at all. Okay, so let me just go into some definitions in the Greek so you can understand what sober means. Okay? And this is the same Greek and Hebrew that supposedly a lot of the learned Christians use as reference, right? Like a pastor or preacher. Okay? Now, sober in the Greek, because we're in the actual New Testament, and it means anahne, all right, is to become sober again. Figuratively, when you see figuratively, it's talking about on a metaphysical level or spiritual, esoterically understood level. Regain one's senses, recover self, right? You would say, yeah, it's talking about drinking. Nah, it's a little different. And I'll show you. Here's other definitions here. Let's go to Greek number 4993. Sophreno. Sophreno is to be of sound mind, sane, It has nothing to do with drinking. Moderate. Be in right mind. Be sober-minded. Soberly. So, just because you see the word sober there, you think because they use that in the world, oh man, you need to be sober. Well, anything can make you unsober. You can eat too much. And we see the results of that a lot of time that runs prevalent through the Christian doctrine. Right? So when you see the word sober, don't jump on people that want to have, wine or beer and things of that nature. That's not a sin. So I'm just going to go through a few scriptures on what a sin is based on what sober means. Alright, so when you see sober, or Greek number 366, and you read 1 Peter 5 and 8, don't think that sober represents someone drinking. You're judging that person. You're damning them to some place that you may go. Okay? Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Now, you say, okay, well, it's talking about drinking. No, it has nothing to do with it. Now, I'm going to go through some precepts based on that particular verse. Right? So now, let's go to Isaiah 29 verse 9, right? Because this is another reference of the word. It's actually putting it out there, drunk or drinking, not drunk or drink. But let's see what this actually drunk or drink is talking about. Isaiah 29 and 9. Now, I am not saying it's okay to drink a bunch of wine to get drunk. No, that's still on a physical level. If you drink too much, you won't be sober. Okay? If you eat too much, you're not sober-minded, because you're acting like someone out of their mind. You see what I'm saying? That's crazy to overeat, to make yourself swell to the point where you have to go to the doctor and get something unclogged, like an artery cleared for your heart to beat. Isn't that being crazy like we've seen here? You're out of your mind. That's to recover self. You see? You have to recover from having heart surgery. So it's not always talking about having some liquid. So I just want to make that very clear, okay? Isaiah 29 and 9. Stay yourselves and wonder, cry out and cry. They are drunken, but not with wine. They still drunk, but they ain't drinking no wine. They're still drunk, but they ain't drinking no wine though, right? They stagger. So they're staggering, but not with strong drink. So every time you see sober in scripture, don't think it's just always talking about, on a surface value understanding, drinking wine. Okay? So what is our people wondering and crying about? They are drunken, but not with wine. This is Isaiah 29 and 9, a major prophet talking about the end days. What will happen in the end days that make our people drunk, but they ain't drinking no wine. He's talking about different doctrines, winds of doctrines, dealing with other religions. You all over the place. One day you want to be a 7-day Adventist, the next day you want to be a Muslim. One day you in the church, skipping and dancing, and you'll be in the club Friday night, mind you, on the Shabbat, skipping and dancing in the club, and then come Sunday morning you in the choir somewhere, or in church dancing and shouting. So you're staggering all over the place in different winds of doctrines and beliefs and in your emotions. But not with strong drink. When it says they stagger, so you all over the place staggering. I'm over here one day and I'm over here the other day. I want to be a Muslim one day. Let me go over here and try this Hinduism out. You all over the place. That's what it's actually talking about, but not with wine. So the devil, and I'm going to show you in scripture, when you read the precepts, all right? When you read the precepts to this particular scripture, you're going to find out it's actually talking about the devil having you all over the place, like a drunk person that's not sober. Put on the whole armor of God, because if you don't, you will be crazy. That ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Now, is the wiles of the devil just talking about, and I bring the scripture out because this is one of the precepts of First Peter chapter 5 verses 8 and 9. Mainly verse 8. Put on the whole armor of God that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Right? I gotta cut this a little close here. I may have to do a part 2, but for right now, we understand that particular scripture, hopefully you understand, is not actually talking about sober. Actually talking about drinking wine or strong drink, because you need that. And I'm gonna show you a scripture on that. Give me a minute. Let's go to First Timothy. All right, 1 minute here. And let me just read some good information about drinking beer. Even a beer is good to have pretty much once a day. This is what beer does for you, okay? Decrease incidence of heart disease. Now, what people mainly in the churches, or people all in general that eat shrimp, lobster, crab, and all this stuff that they shouldn't be eating anyway, decrease incidence of heart disease. Now, that doesn't mean drinking more is better. Drinking beer responsibly is drinking healthy, which means in moderation, you consume beer results in an increase of HDL, which is good cholesterol, and a decrease in LDL, which is bad cholesterol, along with an improvement in both HDL and LDL particle sizes. So that means it levels you out. So that's why the Most High tell you it's okay to have a little wine for the belly. Let me show you. All right. All right, so let's go to 1 Timothy. That's where I wanted to go at. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 23. All right. 1 Timothy 5 and 23. I'm trying to hurry up because I know this thing's going to cut me off in a few minutes. 1 Timothy 5, verse 23, and it says, drink no longer water, but use a little wine for thy stomach's sake, and thine often infirmities. The reason why it says no longer water, it don't say that you drink wine for the rest of your life. No. At a certain time, if you're sick, or if you're going through something stressful or things of that nature, have a little wine for the belly to calm you down. Water ain't gonna do nothing to you. Water is good for you, but sometimes you need to calm your body down. We're in a sinful body. It's evil. So it calm your thoughts down. You can calm yourself down. You can relax. That's what it's for. Not to drink constantly and just get caught up and you drunk. That's when you're considered not sober. They just use that term in the world on a secular level based on you being inebriated. You are a drunkard. You're not sober. You're crazy. You're going off. But that, when you read it in the scripture, it's already was common sense for our people not to deal with that. Okay? Give me a minute here. Let's go to James 4 and 7 in regards to 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 8 and 9. All right? Submit yourselves therefore to God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So this is talking about 1 Peter 5 and 8 when it's talking about be sober. Okay? I want to make that clear. All right? So I just wanted to put that out there. I can put out a plethora of scriptures, an arsenal of scriptures in regards to how it's okay to drink wine. Okay, there's another scripture that some people bring out, Proverbs 20, verse 1. And it says, strong wine is a mockery and strong drink is raging, right? When you read that particular scripture and you do the precepts, it's actually talking about you're drinking to the point where you are mocking people. Or you're enraged, you're not sober, you're drunk in in the flesh based on trying to fulfill your lust thereof. So that's why I wanted to bring forth. So hopefully it's clear. I'll be making more videos. There was a comment that was in regards to is Christ considered the 13th disciple or something like that. I'll get into that. And the answer is no. There's only 12 disciples. He was not, you would call, considered one of the disciples. Christ and his disciples. Okay? And was there 13 disciples? They try to add in Paul in that as well. No. Remember that Judas Iscariot was killed. Well, he killed himself. So it was always 13. I mean, excuse me. You got me saying it. There was always 12 disciples. Okay? I may bring out some more information on that, but that was on my mind. Somebody wanted me to, bring that out. It was brought to my attention to kind of like clarify some things on that. So I will make more videos. This is my life, and I'll be doing this for the rest of it. Shalom.